We are tracking the storm very closely as it is imminently making landfall there in Sarasota. I do want to now dip into our coverage there with WOFL, that is Fox 35 out of Orlando. Let's listen in as they are tracking the storm.
Category 3 hurricane near Siesta Key. This is a pressure of 954 millibars. So as of right now, you can watch me update this live on TV. So we have a landfall now. Hurricane Milton has made landfall with winds of 120. Sustained winds. There you see 120. The pressure 954 millibars. The forward speed 15 millibars. And the official location was 5 miles west of Siesta Key. So that is as of 8:31, the Hurricane Center. So 1 minute ago, the Hurricane Center has now officially stated that we have a landfall, and you get the luxury of seeing me type that out live on TV. So there you go. So as of 8:31 p.m., sustained winds 120, pressure 954, the forward speed at 15 miles an hour, and this landfall is a Category 3 hurricane. Remember, Category 3 is 115 plus, so a middle of the road.
All right, that was just some of our coverage there from Fox 35 as they were giving us the latest update that they are hearing from the National Hurricane Center. But let's get back to some of those conditions that are happening there on the ground. I now want to bring in Fox 13 Tampa's Lloyd Sowers to our show. Lloyd, thank you so much for joining us. We can see that you are now dripping wet right now as those conditions are continuing to deteriorate. Can you sort of just talk through what you're seeing and how things have changed over the last few hours?
Yeah, it's going consistently downhill, Christina. Gusty wind, lots of rain right now in Tampa, and I'll get photojournalist Corey Beckman to pan off me and go over here to some trees and some lights that are still on. We are just west of downtown Tampa. I am under a roof by our TV station, which is just west of downtown Tampa. Now, we are getting considerable rain. On the north end of this storm, if you saw the radar presentation, there's a huge amount of rain, and they're saying that we could get 12 to 18 inches of rain in places like Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, on over to Lakeland, and even over to Orlando as this storm goes. I just heard a bang here in the background. We've seen some lightning and thunder also in this, as we're seeing some really gusty winds right now in Tampa and some heavy rain. Again, there is going to be flash flooding because of this. A foot of rain, perhaps 2 feet of rain on the north end of this storm that is making its way into the interior of Florida now that the storm has made landfall in Sarasota County. It's going to be interesting to see now about the south end of this storm in places like Sarasota Bay, in places like Siesta Key, Anna Maria Island, Longboat Key, and on down into Charlotte Harbor. Remember, they had Hurricane Ian a couple of years ago with a huge storm surge that flattened Fort Myers Beach. They are still rebuilding. That is to the south of us. But right now, the entire West Coast is getting a dose of Milton in a big way. This is what happens when a Category 3 storm makes landfall. It is an event for the entire state, as a matter of fact, because places like Daytona Beach, Orlando, St. Augustine, Jacksonville will feel the effects of this. It will be a statewide, Christina, a statewide event as this storm comes ashore tonight. Back to you.
And Lloyd, right before we let you go, you've covered these hurricanes for several years. And again, we did just get that notification out of the National Hurricane Center saying that it is officially made landfall near Siesta Key, Florida. What can you tell us about what the conditions are like that you're seeing? How do they compare to hurricanes you've seen come through the Tampa area in the past?
Well, the most recent one, Helene, I'll take that as an example. It wasn't until after the hurricane passed that we saw that storm surge at high tides. And we do have some high tides coming up along the coast tonight. So it's going to be after that storm passes, then the surge comes up, the saltwater surge in the bays and along the coast. You're going to see some bays on the north side, water being sucked out of the bay, and then on the south side, going to be redeposited in and pushed up certain bays. And that's what's going to increase the storm surge which is salt water, which is the most dangerous part of a hurricane. But we are getting gusty winds and a lot of rain right now. We still have power at this particular piece of Tampa. We're West Tampa, just west of downtown. But we've already heard of many thousands of people in Florida losing power. And I imagine that the way this is going, there's going to be a lot more people losing power tonight. This is going to be a night in the dark for thousands of people in Florida. For the people who've chosen to stay in their homes, this is going to be a night of rock and roll. We hope that they've made the right decision to stay home. If they have a sturdy house that's at the right elevation to keep them out of the storm surge and the flooding, perhaps they will be fine. But if there are people that have made the wrong decision, maybe stayed on the beach, stayed in a low-lying area, it is not going to be good, because the first responders are not going to be able to go out of this and rescue people. They're going to have to wait till this blows over before they can get those emergency vehicles on the road, Christina. So conditions continuing to worsen here on the west coast of Florida. It is going to be a long night.
Well, Fox 13's Lloyd Sowers, they're giving us the latest update out of Tampa. Thank you so much for all the work that you've been doing. Please stay safe there. Glad you guys still have power, able to bring the latest news from the ground there in Tampa. Thank you so much, Lloyd.
You're welcome, Christina.
All right, again, here on Live Now from Fox, we are continuing to follow the very latest as this storm, again, has now made landfall. That is the breaking news that we are getting out of the National Hurricane Center. It did make landfall close to Siesta Key, Florida. That's in the same area as the Sarasota side on the west side of the state, the side that is butting up against the Gulf of Mexico. So, again, we're continuing to track the very latest. I do want to show you some of these shots that we have from some of those cameras in the area of Florida. You can really see nearly white out conditions from all of the wind and all of the rain that are coming through again. And here another shot there looking very, very similar. So again, we know that this storm has now made landfall. Since, again, we do know this storm has made landfall, and it's really going to be the storm surge and the flooding that's going to be affecting residents and folks as this storm continues to push through the panhandle and the main part of Florida as well. I do want to pull up the latest tweet that we have as well. We've got something finally in from the National Hurricane Center. They were able to put this message out on X. And as you can see, as of 8:30, the Doppler radar data indicated that the eye of Hurricane Milton had made landfall near Siesta Key and Sarasota County on the west coast of Florida. Max sustained winds at landfall are estimated at 120 miles per hour. We were earlier today getting some really great shots out of Sarasota as that storm was making landfall. So that is the latest update that we have. It did make landfall as a Category 3 storm. This is what it was projected to do. It was